welcome to the Walton Law Show. Trip is going to say his Easter speech for today. Is coming up.
My Easter speech?
Yeah.
You didn't tell me I had an Easter speech.
You don't have. Hey man, how you doing? First of all,
I'm
then
good.
We'll get to that.
Good to be here.
Good to see you, man. Good to see you. So you don't have a.
Here comes Peter Cottontail.
Where you coming
hopping
from?
down the bunny trail. Hippity hoppity hippity all the way. I hadn't even thought about that in a long time.
We'll classify that as your 2018 Easter speech.
You
and you did a great job. We're gonna have to give you some chocolate bunnies.
Ooh, that'd be good. Some dark chocolate.
Do you eat boiled eggs on Easter?
I do. I love boiled eggs. I have boiled eggs every day. A boiled egg is one of the best things you can put in your body.
Yeah, that's what I
including the yolk, because that's where all your vitamins are in the yolk. Your proteins in the white. You need both. Now, if you're going to eat 3 or 4 or 5, you might want to just eat the yolk of 2 of them. But, you know.
So don't eat 5.
Here goes on my nutrition again.
The nutrition.
Yeah, I love boiled eggs, and they are, like I say, they are the thing to eat for health.
This may be psychological to me, I don't know, but it seems to me that the boiled eggs taste better on Easter Sunday than they do the rest of the year. They taste good the rest of the year.
Well, you know, if you get a little dye in them, and that may change the taste. I'm not real sure the health benefits of that food dye. As a matter of fact, I think that would be off the chain. That may be what gave me Parkinson's, was that dang food dye. Since they don't know what gave it to me, I'm thinking it's the food dye.
What's your favorite color?
I would say red.
Red?
Yeah.
Red?
Yeah.
So you like red boiled eggs?
Well, I just, you asked my favorite, you didn't ask me my favorite boiled egg color.
Okay, boiled egg color.
My favorite boiled egg color would be yaller.
Yaller?
Yes.
That's a dog that made a movie.
That's old Yaller. That was a sad one, too. I hadn't seen that in
when old
years.
Yaller got shot?
That was awful. That was terrible. Oh, yes, I cried. I cry watching commercials. What you talking about? I'm emotional.
You're emotional?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I have not seen that movie in a long time.
I hadn't seen it in a long time either.
You might need to put that.
I saw Over the Bridge Choir the other day. I hadn't seen that one in 40 years.
40 years.
I watched it. It was an interesting Japanese war movie.
Okay.
Well, World War I war movie.
World War I. All right.
Very good movie.
Okay. All right. Well, Trip, how is family life on the Walton front?
Family life is life is but a dream. It's good.
Life is but a dream.
It's good. My wife plays tennis 24/7. My little 12-year-old's been doing cheerleading, competitive cheer, and now we're headed into the tennis season here pretty shortly.
Okay.
Whatever we do, we travel and spend money, that's for sure. I don't know why we can't do bowling. Of course, bowling probably costs money. Everything costs money.
Yeah, it does.
So I just got to get in the rhythm. My 21-year-old is studying for the LSAT to take it to get into law school.
Okay.
He wants to go to law school and
following your footsteps.
I can't imagine why. I asked him, "Have you looked at what lawyers really make for, money-wise?" I said, "Take a few of them that you know out of the picture that have been fortunate, and just look at what the charts say." He said, "Oh yeah, it's terrible." I said, "So why would you want to do it?" He said, "Because I want to be like you." So I said, "All right."
I figured that.
Yeah.
But he knows he can't walk right into it and be a Trip Walton right out the top.
I hope he does. I hope he does. He needs to ask around. You get to work yourself, you got to get after it for years. And then if you're fortunate, you're fortunate. If you're not, well, maybe you should have sold vacuum cleaners.
Are those selling these days?
I don't know if they are or not.
They're $300 or $500. I know they put them on displays at the house.
I was the Cutco salesman. Yeah, I was the number one salesman in the southeast and southern states for Cutco. I went against the grain. They said, don't ever go in and meet with a woman and sell you big sets of knives unless the husband's there, because he has to have the authority to write the check.
Okay.
I told them when they had me come up to Nashville and talk about being the number one salesman, I said, first of all, never go have donuts and drink coffee with a woman and have her husband there. Because she will write you a check if you tell her that coffee's good and that donut's great. Plus the product was great. I may go back into knife selling.
Knife selling?
I had 100%, never left the house without selling something. 100%.
So you pretty much been was it the product or is it the gift that's already in you? A little of both?
A little of both.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a great product, so it was easy to sell and I can sell.
Okay.
Yeah. I sold used cars for a while. I've done a lot of different stuff.
I didn't know that.
I was a deputy sheriff for a while. lifeguard, water ski instructor, not snow. Lord, no, I can hit a few trees, snow skiing. I did a little bit of everything coming up, lifeguarding, all kind of stuff. Worked in the hayfield. Work in the hayfield and eat potted meat, saltine crackers, and a Coke. Daddy said I was spending more money on lunch than I was making. That tells you what we were making. We weren't making much. I think somebody was letting me work for free to get me out of the house.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
Well, your son has a lot he has to become a part of before he can get to where you are now.
He got a lot of schooling to go through. He may change his mind after he takes that LSAT a couple of times. And his girlfriend, she's just got a job up in Nashville, so he maybe changed his mind what he's going to do. He wants to be an agent, a sports agent, which I would love to have a sports agent as part of the firm, because like I say, we did in another show, things are changing. Cars are going to be made safer. Trucks are going to be made safer. We're not going to be signing 200-300 personal injury cases a year in 5 years. All the rear end collisions ought to be gone. A lot of the cases will be gone due to great manufacturing ideas they're coming up with.
Great manufacturing ideas. Yeah. And you believe that, right?
I hope, I mean, if we put a man on the moon in 1968, surely we can make a car where it's safer enough to drive. But I don't know that I would ever want a car that I was not driving. Let's both hands start shaking on me, then I'm all over the road. But if it's just my right hand, I think I just like to be in charge of the car.
I don't think I'd be able to trust it.
That's what I'm saying.
Totally.
I mean, that's weird, isn't it?
But speaking of that contraption that we went to the moon in 1968, when my son was up in D.C. a couple of weeks ago, and we saw that.
You see it?
Yeah, we were like, man, there had to be some food.
Have you ever tried to get in it? Because it's like a little old can. I got it up in Huntsville one time, and it was I was too big to be an astronaut, I guess.
We had some sure enough daredevils that were hopping that piece of tin can.
And go up. That's crazy.
It's crazy.
It was crazy.
Wow. Well, Walton Law Firm, always at the beginning of the show, we like to share what the Walton Law Firm, the services that they offer and how they can assist you and how they can fight for you, and you can get a fight in your corner. And
we don't start the fight, we finish it.
That's it.
First thing my daddy told me going off to first grade, so that's why I went with that slogan.
Okay.
At Walton Law Firm, we do personal injury cases, wrongful death cases, stuff like brain injuries, neck injuries, back injuries, leg injuries, broken bones, broken hips, all that kind of stuff that normally occur or typically occur in a car crash or a truck crash. And like I say, over and over again, we have more and more trucking clients because trucks are hitting trucks. So we do a lot of those. So that's primarily what we do. We do criminal work in the state of Alabama. We're carrying right now about 125 criminal cases at any one time and around 200 car and truck wrecks. So that's what we do. We're not like the big advertisers. We don't sign 300 cases a day or a week. We like to know our clients. We like to get them actually come into the office, where it's amazing how these big firms do everything by mail order or have people go to the house and do it all outside the office. We actually have an office where you come down and sit down, have a cup of coffee, talk to the lawyer, talk to the paralegal, get to know us. A lot of our business is referred from former clients, which we're proud of. We have some great reviews online, so everything's good. We're enjoying it.
Yep, just like if you were a diaper, you would be Pampers.
Dang, too.
But you're a lawyer and you're Trip Walton.
That's right. Fair. That's good.
Yeah, one of the, hey, I won't charge for that. That's okay. But anyway,
you do my next slogan.
Yeah, next slogan.
Maybe some billboards.
Exactly. That'll work good. Well, Trip, we're here to talk about today. I would actually call this an epidemic going on in our society today, and we're here to talk about it just about each and every day. Here's a national fact right there that says every day 142 Americans die from drug overdose.
Drug overdose, and we're talking about pills, Oxycontin, stuff like that. The weird thing about the Oxycontin, I remember when it first came on the market, it was created, it's sort of a synthetic heroin. It was created for terminally ill patients.
Right.
So you're on your deathbed, you need to be knocked out. It was the drug of choice. And then they came up with this great idea. And then all of a sudden I started having clients that had a sprained shoulder in a car wreck give me the list of medications for their case, and they're taking Oxycontin. Then the next thing I know, they're drooling when they come in, and their head's bouncing up and down, and I'm calling the ambulance to come get them out of my office and take them to the hospital. And then the next thing I know, they're calling me from the jail because they lost their script and they started buying it off the street, or they started selling it on the street. So we've seen this take the country over by storm. Here's a fact here. Between 1999 and 2015, more than 560,000 people in this country have died due to drug overdoses.
Wow.
That's a lot of folks. And they tell me up in like Ohio and West Virginia, it's just, 20, 30, 40 a day now, every day dying and being hospitalized.
Wow.
It's unbelievable. So what's going on is a lot of the state's attorney generals are suing these companies, the manufacturers, the developers, the salespeople. Of course, we've had doctors in Montgomery. We've had about 4 or 5 recently go to the federal penitentiary. They call them pill mills, where they're giving away.
A lot of those.
People are lined up to go in these places. They're pretty easy to spot. It's been amazing over the years. They hadn't busted more of them. It just hadn't been something they were going to do. Now they're doing it. So my criminal business may pick up in that regard on the white collar edge of stuff. But a few more stats here that are just interesting. These staggering numbers have put drug overdoses as the lead cause of death in America, surpassing combined totals for gun homicides and car crashes.
Wow.
And another scary thing about it, and I know a lot of people listening have family members who've been through this, or children who've been through this, or spouses who've been through this. You can't spot it.
No.
You can't smell a pill.
No, you can't.
If your husband or your wife has a drinking problem, you see the bottles, you look in the trash can, they think by putting it in a brown bag, they're hiding it. You can smell it. Same with weed. If your kid's smoking weed upstairs, it cuts on the fan in the bathroom and things, you smell it all over him. So that's a dead giveaway. But when somebody's taking Oxycontin or tons of other pain pills, which are legitimate and made for legitimate uses, but when they're abusing them, you can't tell it.
Right.
So by the time something happens, it's too late, and then the family member feels like an idiot. Well, I tell them all the time in criminal cases where we have stuff like that happen. How were you supposed to know? They're not. It's the easiest thing in the world to hide. And then when they run out of pills, apparently most people's drug of choice when they can't get any scripts or they can't buy them on the street is heroin, because heroin's cheaper.
Oh, heroin is cheaper now?
Heroin's cheaper than your pills.
Get out of here.
That's what they tell me.
Wow.
And I know one thing is killing folks right and left. Let's see, here's another fact. In 2015, nearly 2/3 of drug overdoses were linked to opiates like Percocet, Oxycontin, heroin, and fentanyl.
That's the stuff Michael Jackson had.
They tell me that's a rough, tough one. Oh, here's another interesting thing. We're not talking about the Olympics here.
Okay.
Americans consume more opiates than any other country in the world. The amount of opiates prescribed in the U.S. in 2015 was enough for every American to be medicated around the clock for 3 weeks. That's where it goes back to the manufacturers, the distributors, and the doctors. 41 state investigating pharmaceutical companies over the opiate epidemic. They're indicting people right and left. Let's talk about Alabama.
Okay.
At least 30,000 Alabama residents over the age of 17 are dependent on heroin or prescription painkillers, according to the Attorney General's office. During 2006 to 2014, the state of Alabama, 5,128 people died from overdoses. That's just incredible to me.
Man, those numbers are very alarming. I knew they were up there, but I didn't think they were that high.
Now, what Alabama's done is they filed a lawsuit in federal court in February against the Oxycontin producer, a couple of labs, and so Alabama's on the forefront of fighting it. They have one or more private law firms engaged with them too, multi-million-dollar law firms who handle big cases. They're helping with these kind of cases. Let's see, Mobile, Gadsden, Birmingham, Etowah County, and others in Alabama have filed suits against pharmaceutical companies. So it's a war right now. Sort of like the tobacco litigation.
Okay.
Tobacco thought it was untouchable. These folks thought they were untouchable. I saw some things the other day where they'd already settled hundreds of millions of cases, dollars worth of cases already. The pharmaceutical companies have. And one thing that's helping the taxpayer, if you want to look at it that way, for the government to file suit against these companies is all the Medicaid recipients who have this treatment for addiction, Medicare, the state, the hospitals are all beat up financially by having to treat these folks. And so by suing them, they're going to somehow get the money to the right folks to make them whole. I don't know how you do that.
Right.
It's way over my head. But it is a hot topic, and we wanted to bring it to everybody's attention because I know people will hear about it, maybe not really understand why, but when you've got millions of people out there dying or hundreds of thousands dying, it's a problem. And so, lawsuits are required to take care of it. I saw where Trump came out and just, you know how he is. He tweeted the other day that he was just going to move for the death penalty for all drug dealers.
Okay.
I don't know if he means doctors in that or whoever.
There's a lot of people.
It covers a lot of ground, a lot of different kind of drugs. But anyway, it is a mess.
And it really makes you think how the pharmaceutical industry, what it has come to. You take an area like LaGrange. I think we have still, don't quote me on this, but I'm thinking anywhere from 50 to 60,000 people.
Yeah.
And I look at all these pharmacies that's in our area, all the pharmacies that are coming into the area, all the new pharmacies being built.
Every corner.
And I'm like, they would not be building these if it was not an opportunity for them to make money.
Every corner.
And they're everywhere. And I'm just wondering how everybody can capitalize on this, but that just shows you how big this problem really is.
It's how big it is, because they're filled up.
So basically, the problem is somebody starts taking one oxycodone, they get that feeling, and then they start taking 2 or 3, and that doesn't do what it needs to do. So then they start taking 4 or 5, and so that's.
And then the doctors will notice, or they'll start doctor shopping where they're going everywhere looking for pain pills. Then they finally get cut off, and then they'll jump over to heroin on the black market, get the pills on the black market where they're paying $20 a pill or $80 a pill or whatever the market will bear.
So heroin is in pill form?
No, I'm talking about on the pills.
On the pills.
And then they get the heroin. I'm not that familiar with heroin. I've heard a lot of kids have been dying in the Birmingham area, in the sort of well-to-do suburbs, because heroin made a run through up there in Vestavia and Hoover and all up in there. I've been just hearing rumors, but I hadn't really done a study on heroin. It's not, and I don't even think I've had any of my people who allegedly sell drugs that I represented in the past never had any heroin. LSD is back. We see LSD a good bit.
Wow.
We see tons of weed, tons of cocaine, tons of crack, on campus and around campus with our clients. But I hadn't seen heroin.
Okay.
So I hadn't really studied it. But we see a ton of pills. Pills are big. Stuff like Adderall. I read an article the other day where a neurophysicist compared Adderall to meth. It said it was an exact match. And people said, no, it's not. And he said, yes, I'm the scientist. He did the spread out on it. He said, it's the same. So that was interesting. And of course, your meth's different strengths because they're making it on the sly. They're throwing everything in but the kitchen sink.
And man, imagine you putting that stuff in your body. I heard one time going through batteries and all.
Or you get burned up or blown up making it. I've never really understood putting anything in my body I didn't understand, or it just doesn't make sense to me. But apparently, it makes sense to a lot of folks. But it eats them up.
So, in your opinion, and I know you're a lawyer, but you're a philosopher too as well.
Yes,
in your opinion,
more so than a lawyer.
Matter of fact, to be a good lawyer, you probably have to be a great philosopher as well.
You have to learn how to go on both sides of the fence. That's for sure.
What do you think could help minimize this problem, in your opinion?
Probably tightening down on I don't know what the pharmaceutical companies are doing or the distributors are doing, but I do know that doctors can stop it to a certain degree. Now, they may lose a patient, but I mean, they know. I mean, a lot of them know. The ones that are legitimate know when somebody needs pain medication and when they don't. And just like I do, when I have a client and I look at the spreadsheet, when we get everything, we order all the medicals from everywhere they've treated. And when I start looking at their pharmaceutical things, and they jump from this doctor to this doctor, this doctor to this doctor, and all they're getting is pain pills, and then they get cut off after 1 or 2 bottles, it's obvious we've got somebody who's not interested in their car wreck injuries. Okay. They're trying to feed upon their pain addiction.
Okay.
So we see it too.
Okay.
And emergency rooms see it, urgent care see it, medical doctors see it, neurologists see it, neurosurgeons, everybody out there sees it. And most people put the foot down, except the ones who are going off to the penitentiary now.
Right, right.
Like I say, they just busted a crowd down in Montgomery, and they had a reputation for issues a while back, but apparently they somehow got arrested. I don't know how they do it. I guess they do a sting operation, but I don't know how they do it.
And it's sad too for someone just in a lot of the accidents they're involved in who may be really, really hurting real bad, and they kind of need this, and then
it's a legitimate need. But like when I have surgery, I've had shoulder surgery in the last 5 or 6 years. I've had lower back surgery. I've had breaks from skiing and stuff. Okay. I don't take them. Okay. I won't take them. I may take 4 Advil at a time, or two Advil every 2 hours. Which jacks up my blood pressure through the roof. But I'm scared to death to take them. So unless, the only time I can remember taking one was when I had my nose rebuilt, because my face was pounding. And I think that was back when they called it lower tab or lower set. Right. Wasn't that strong. But I took 2 of those out of the bottle. My face quit throbbing. I went to Advil and Tylenol, rotating those. But I just scared to death of it, because I see it, and I've represented tons of people. And I've represented people who've done some really crazy criminal acts on the stuff, who didn't even know what they were doing a day later. Wake up in the jail and didn't realize what they had done. So it's sort of scary to me. Okay. I'm a scaredy cat anyway.
I got you. It's good to be scared sometimes.
When I drank my first beer, I was 25. So I mean,
I was like,
Okay.
Well, you were fortunate. 25.
I was a little slow.
That's fortunate.
I was the driver.
You was the driver.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Now you gave us some statistics national in Alabama. What about on the Georgia side? Few things on the Georgia side.
Saying Georgia from June 2016 to May 2017, the total number of opiate doses prescribed to Georgia patients surpassed 541 million. To put that in perspective, that is approximately 54 doses for every man, woman, and child in the state of Georgia. If that tells you anything. Georgia, I don't think, has fired up a lawsuit yet against anybody or anything. But Georgia ain't shy about putting folks in jail.
Right.
Every client I ever have that comes in, they say, "Have you ever been to jail, prison?" Yeah. I lived in Georgia for a few years. Yeah.
I got you.
They put me in
so they put them in there. Wow.
But that's all we had on Georgia. There wasn't a lot of facts we could find anywhere on the internet. But that's a ton.
Yeah.
It's a ton of opiates. Opioids.
So what's the correct pronunciation?
I
say opiates.
I watch them on TV, and they say 15 different ways.
15 different ways?
Yeah.
So that's not a correct pronunciation?
There probably is, but I don't know what it is.
Now,
I didn't win many spelling bees.
You didn't win the spelling bees, okay. Philosopher, lawyer, no spelling bees.
I'd make up the word.
I know a lot of, well, I won't say a lot, but I know in Atlanta and several other cities, they've gone to not charging you. I guess Georgia had to change something because you say a lot of arrests was taking place, where they've minimized now the amount of, just say marijuana you have on you or whatnot. They're not charging you for that now. What do you think about that?
Weed is so prevalent. I've never smoked weed, but it wouldn't hurt my shaking. Maybe I need to. I've had numerous people say, "Why don't you get you some weed?" I said, "Well, it's illegal. How about that?" But it wouldn't hurt my feelings.
Okay.
I mean, again, it's going to cut back on my business because I represent probably 100 people in weed cases a year, from selling 15 pounds to smoking a joint. So it would cut into my bank account. But it wouldn't hurt my feelings if they let, at least medical. I talked to one of my senators out of Auburn. I said, when we're going to do some medical marijuana for those of us who are shaking to death. And and I think Georgia has something like that.
They're trying. They're making some.
Alabama, I saw some bill the other day where they were going to try to decriminalize a certain amount, a small amount. I had 2 kids from deep South Florida were smoking a joint over on campus, and a police officer came up and said, "What you doing?" They said, "Hold on a minute." Sir, He said, "What are you doing, Michael?" I said, "I'm smoking a joint." He said, "Turn your hands around." Handcuffed him.
Uh-huh.
Where they come from, it's a ticket, like a speeding ticket if you get anything down in South Florida.
Okay.
So both their parents were lawyers. They called me raising Cain with me like I wrote the law of Alabama, like it was my fault.
Uh-huh.
I said, well, it's against the law up here.
Uh-huh.
Like I had a case over in Tuscaloosa with a kid one time. His parents flew in from Colorado, and they were going to go demand that the University of Alabama allow kids to smoke dope because they smoke it in Colorado. I said, y'all really? I said, let's don't. Wait, I'm going to leave town before you do that.
Uh-huh.
But, other places, I mean, Denver, you
Right.
can go get your gummy bears and stuff. A lot of people with Parkinson's use that stuff, they tell me.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. There may be some medical benefits to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's medical benefits to these opiates, and
Right.
then all of a sudden there's a killer benefit to it too.
Exactly.
So you got to be careful whatever it is.
Yeah, it was interesting. I was in D.C. once again, and I forgot it was legalized in D.C.
I didn't know it was legal.
Yeah, we walking. I'm like, hey, I smell some of the devil's lettuce. Again, that's what the guy called it.
Devil's lettuce. I had heard that.
When we were going to the Sugar Bowl when Auburn played Oklahoma, we were walking to this.
Well, I wish y'all had kept the team away from it.
Yeah.
Good God. What do we do when we go off to away games? Football or basketball? What are we doing? I don't get it.
We
makes
just like
me nervous.
We just like playing at home.
We do like playing at home. We can whoop some.
Even in basketball.
Yeah, oh yeah. It was a great year.
Yeah.
At home.
Get on the road.
At home.
Yeah, so I don't know. But anyway, we're just about out of time.
What else going on? Easter's coming up. Easter's coming up. You singing somewhere Easter?
Yes.
Where are you singing?
I'll be at Faith Baptist Church this weekend, Friday and Saturday. This week and next week. They do a He's Alive presentation. It's a really great presentation. If it went so far away, I would invite you to it.
Well, but we travel every weekend. One day I'm going to come up here and sing with you.
I was trying to think of the name of the group if we were going to sing together.
Oh, we got to name the group.
Yeah, we got to name the group.
Well, it'd be Kevin and Trip.
Kevin and Trip. How about Kevin is a trip?
There you go.
Yeah. So we'll do that.
We'll run the crowd off pretty quickly.
We'll do that. So.
Man.
So we'll do that, and that'll be about it.
That'll be good. Well, I'm ready to head on back to home.
All right. Well, be like Auburn. There's no place like home.
That's right.
Dorothy said it in The Wizard of Oz many years ago.
I love the show. It's
You
one of
love
my
the show?
favorite
Did you
movies.
cry on that one too?
Oh yeah, I love that show.
All right. I get you, my little pretty, and that dog. Okay. All right. Well. All right. We just talked about the opiates. We hadn't had none. Okay.
No, we hadn't.
Yeah.
We might need some.
Yeah. I don't know about that, Drew. But anyway,
Oh,
we'll
you
just take
gotta
our
say
ad bills and
scared
our
me to
ibuprofen.
death.
Okay.
But we brought everybody up to date on it.
Exactly.
It's a serious problem. It
It's
really
serious problem.
is.
So, parting words.
Well, we don't start the fight, we finish it. www.waltonlaw.net. Auburn and Montgomery, Alabama offices. Come see us.
Come see us. Well, thank you for watching the show, and we'll see you next time.